Do you guys hear that?
Is that boss music?
Go naked and just go with the sword, and that's it.
What do I do with all this?
It says it in the title.
I'm a slut for roguelites.
Hello, and welcome back to the Unearthing Games Podcast. I am the lead excavator today. My name is Erica, and I am also joined today by Nick.
Howdy.
And we dig games. So what have you been up to this past week, Nick?
Well, I mean, not a whole lot. I've been playing more Undermine. Mm-hmm. So I did finally beat boss number 2. It was like a big rock golem. Like, honestly, he was kind of weird. Like, I beat him my first try.
Uh-huh.
And, like, not trying to toot my own horn or anything. I'm not a master gamer. But I beat him on my first try, and I was like, wow. I think I had a really good set of relics, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I had one where, like, when I threw my pickaxe, it would be 3 pickaxes. And I was like, oh, yeah, shotgun. Yeah. Exactly, shotgun. But he was really weird, because, like, I couldn't hit his body, because he had, like, a bunch of, like, little crystal orbs spinning around him, right? That would, like, deal lightning damage.
Okay.
So his hands would fly off, because he's a golem, right? Magic and stuff.
Okay.
His hands would fly over and try to smoosh me.
Oh.
And whenever they missed, I could stop and hit his hand a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, bad golem, bad, you know? And he eventually died. And so I beat him, and I got to the third area, which is like the second area was a dungeon,
right?
And the third area is an even more interesting dungeon that's mostly blue.
Oh, really?
And so it's like I don't really like I said, I haven't played a whole lot in the third zone yet, but to me it just seemed like basically let's make it a dungeon, but paint it all blue, is what it felt like.
Interesting, yeah.
So it was pretty cool. I got gold popcorn again, felt really happy. I found out there's an achievement to get gold to reproduce like 5 times, and most I've done so far is 4.
Oh, so close.
Is disappointing, but so I've been playing that. I've been playing a lot of the game we're going to talk about for the podcast today.
Mm-hmm.
I also went back and played some Enter the Gungeon, because the game is, that's roguelike, not roguelite. So roguelike, and it's just so good. It's so funny. It does not care about it. It does not take itself seriously at all.
Yeah, and you said today that you were close to getting all of the achievements on that one?
Yeah, and I'm not normally a completionist kind of guy, you know? Like, normally I don't care. But if you see the finish line, aren't you going to try to cross it? You know?
See, you used to want to finish them. I remember going through, what was it, like Fallout 4, and I was sitting there, like, looking up where you could find these obscure magazines so that you can complete, like, the achievements and stuff. Like, I feel like you used to do that all the time.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what burned me out on it, was sandbox world RPG fetch quest achievements. I'm thinking back to, like, Assassin's Creed 2, go and collect all the bird feathers.
Yeah.
Because there's like 150 bird feathers scattered throughout the huge world that is Assassin's Creed 2. And you get them all, and what do you get for it? A fancy cape that doesn't do anything.
But it's a cape. Capes are just inherently cool.
Ezio already had a cape.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is my thing. So I think, you know, collecting all the bobbleheads in Fallout, collecting the feathers and that, I think it just burned me out on it. You know, like I said, the whole collectible achievements are just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, at least in Enter the Gungeon, from what I can tell so far, I don't think any of them are really collectibles.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I have like 4 or 5 left to do.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, 2 of them are like the hardest ones to do in the game because you are literally playing in challenge mode.
Yeah.
So there's that. I guess there is an annoying one where I have to go and kill certain enemies. Like there's a guy who will be like, "Oh, I want you to go and kill like 5 shotgun bullets."
Yeah.
And so I have to go, or he'll say like 25 shotgun bullets. So I have to go and find the shotgun bullets and kill 25 of them. You know?
Yeah, but I feel like the enemies are very frequent.
They are, but like I think I'm getting to the later end of his list, and so now they're becoming very specific. So like the one I'm on now only spawns on the 3rd floor, and there's a chance that he just won't spawn. Like, I mean, he only spawns in certain rooms. Like, he's like a big bad guy that sits in the middle and shoots at everything.
Yeah.
and so he might not spawn. And I have to kill like 15 of them. I think I have like 6 left to kill.
Yeah, because you just have to keep going to the 3rd level and hope you see him. If not, then just quit and go back to the 3rd level.
Yeah, I need to see if the quick restart works for that, because like I know you can do a quick restart, like if you know your run isn't going very well.
Yeah.
But like if I take the shortcut down to level 3
and then
hit quick restart, is it gonna send me back to level 3 or is it gonna put me back on level 1? I gotta check science. But so I've been doing a lot of that. Other than that, though, not really a whole lot. Like, I feel like we've kind of hit a standstill. I think we're both too disheartened to go and work on the stupid workbench out in the garage.
I know. Yeah, like I was thinking about it yesterday. It's like, oh, like we were talking about the other things we want to do. I was like, yeah, the barn doors, and then I was like, but we need to finish the workbench. But that one stupid workbench is wobbly. I just don't want to go back to it. And I feel like I almost want to just build the 3rd one and then go back to the 2nd one and try to fix it.
Which we could do.
Yeah. And it would help get a lot of the stuff out of the way. I mean, we were able to move all the stuff out of the way so we can park in the garage again. But
and it was a good thing, too, right? Wasn't there hail? So
yeah.
I mean, that was like way back.
It was a while ago.
2 or 3 episodes ago, but still.
Yeah.
We've been putting it off. But I don't want to go and do like the resin stuff until the work tables are done, because toxic fumes, little puppies.
Yeah.
It's like I have a breath mask and I have a breath mask for you, but you can't put a breath mask on a little pupper.
No.
So I've been putting off the resin thing. I really want to try the whole casting dice thing, and then like what I'm really curious about is all the post work, the whole sand it, polish it, and all that stuff.
Paint in the numbers. Did you get paint for that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've already got.
Oh, you have that mini paint set.
Yeah, remember I bought that starter kit to paint minis, and so
that would be really good for that, actually.
Yeah, so it came with a brush and all that, and from watching the guy on YouTube, it seems really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he paints in the numbers, and there's like excess outside the number thing. He just rubs it off with his thumb.
And bam, done. It does help that the numbers are indented. Or I don't know what the correct term for that is, but
I think indented's the right word. Yeah, they're in there. It's a depression in the dice.
Yeah, and so you could just wipe off the top and be done with it. As long as you didn't get something to wipe inside the number, then you're fine.
Yeah. So been doing a lot of. I guess, like I said, I haven't been doing that. I've been putting off to think about it a lot, but I don't know. Like it's like I want to go out there, but I don't want to go do things in the garage until we finish those tables.
I know. I feel the same way. So we need to do that. We've got plans this weekend, but next weekend, hopefully, we can get back to that. Yeah. Or even week. I haven't been working too late as of late. Knock on wood, But yeah, we should be able to do some stuff in the evenings. We've been talking about better scheduling our time in the evenings too. So
yeah, because there are some days that it feels like we just don't. It feels like we don't do anything, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But when you have so many things you want to do and you spend an evening just sitting on the couch, like not even watching videos or anything, we're just sitting there like twiddling our thumbs, is what it feels like.
I don't feel that way. I usually have something.
Well, because you're always crocheting, so you're always doing something. I don't crochet.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Better scheduling of our time to make sure that we're taking time to not just play things for the podcast, but play things for the love of the game. Yes,
I've really wanted to get back into that because I haven't been playing very many games this week, but that's mostly because I've been crocheting a whole bunch, trying to finish something. And then I found a baby blanket that I really want to make for a friend, and it's just like I just want to continue crocheting so I can get that done before I procrastinate too long. But I also really want to go back and play Prison Architect, and we've been watching old Sips videos at night.
Sips
like
videos
4 years ago old.
Like it was like before Sips had children old.
No, he's had children for a while now.
Okay, before he had most of his kids.
Yeah. But yeah, so I want to get back to Prison Architect, but then I also want to keep playing new games and, talking about them here, so I'm torn between playing games that I know I love and I want to go back to them since there's been so many updates since the last time I've played, and playing new things and crocheting. So
yeah, I got the whole thing where I'm kind of torn on a lot of it because like for a lot of the games I've played on the podcast, they've been, roguelites and roguelikes and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I feel less bad picking that up, trying it out, and then putting it back down. Because, roguelikes and lights are meant to be just played 1,000 times, an endless number of times.
Yeah.
And so I guess I don't feel as bad putting those down. But then, like, sometimes I'll go and play a story game, and I think the story is so interesting and so cool, but the show must go on. And so I keep thinking, like, oh, well, I shouldn't devote too much time into that because I'm off, doing something else. And I want to work on the scheduling thing so that I can still have time to go back and finish these cool stories because we have found so many amazing stories.
Yeah, I know Spiritfarer was one that you had that way back when we first started where you didn't want to talk about it until you had finished the complete story. And so you spent like weeks going through and playing that one, and we would talk about other games, other one-off games that you played also.
I would make time to go and play something else to talk about so I could keep playing Spiritfarer.
Yeah.
Which I think for the podcast, it would be better if I played something like, play it for an X amount of time and then talk about it because the podcast is all about our first impressions, right?
Yeah, it's not a full-on review. It's just, I played this game. Here's what I think.
Yeah. And then afterwards, I think it'd be cool to come back and have little success stories where, you're like, hey, what are you up to? Like, oh, this week I beat Spiritfarer. Oh, man. Wow, it was great. I loved it. Wow.
Yeah.
I cried. That kind of thing.
Like, I never went back and finished, what was it, Toby and the Secret Mine? Like, I got to the very end, that last level, like, the day we were going to record the episode, and so I was like, okay, I'll finish it, and I'm sure I said it on the podcast that I was going to finish that game, and I still haven't gone back to finish it.
You gotta go back and do it. I mean, especially because you were there at the end. You were at the boss.
Yeah, but I didn't know what to do at the boss.
Well, yeah, but you only got to try him like once. So
that's true, yeah. And it was like during lunch, during work. So
exactly.
But yeah, I think if we start scheduling out time and dedicating, because we have so much time in the evenings that we just don't properly utilize. But yeah, I think scheduling time to actually dedicate time to certain things instead of just getting to the evening and it's like, oh, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I feel like scheduling time will allow us to actually do what we want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's funny. We give Jacob such a hard time about his time, his lack of time management, and then we're not even fully utilizing time management. So
no, we definitely
we need to become like masters of time management so that we can rub his nose in it.
Yeah, and like weekends, I feel like weekends we waste weekends. We need to like be productive and do stuff on weekends.
But when I'm tired, I want to sleep in, and I know sleeping in is the worst. It means that we're not going to get anything done because if we sleep until like 9 or 10. That sets the tone the whole day.
The whole day, yeah.
We're not going to do anything. Like, we probably won't even really devote time to, like, board games and video games. It's just going to be a
meh day.
Let's eat some junk food and watch YouTube videos kind of day. Like, we're not even, like, watching, like, shows that we want to watch and stuff.
Yeah.
So, definitely something that warrants, some addressing. We'll have to sit down, whip out some Excel spreadsheets. Type out.
Go that detailed, but I was thinking like Thursday is board game night, and Tuesdays we play new games, and then
on Wednesdays we wear pink. So
I don't have very many pink clothing items.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. Now that you mention it,
no, I don't think you do.
I don't think I have any pink items. Oh well, I got some red. Does that count?
You got that flamingo bow tie.
I do have that flamingo bow tie. I haven't worn a bow tie since before COVID.
I would say we'll work on that. we can move on to the games we played this week that we did find time for.
This is true.
So what did you play this week, Nick?
This week I played this cool game. I actually found it a while back, and I had played a little bit of it. Mm-hmm. I should actually say the name of the game and all that before I talk about how I found it. So the game I played this week is called Haven. Yeah. This is published and developed by The Game Bakers. This is it's on Steam. Its tags are adventure, romance, story-rich RPG co-op.
Okay.
So I had seen some stuff for this game before it came out. It came out at the end of last year, December 2020.
Yeah.
So I had seen some stuff for it, and I was like, well, that looks kind of neat. I like the art style, because it looks a bit different, kind of like that weird, like, cell shade sort of thing they do in, like, Borderlands, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
Where it's not hyper realistic, but the characters do like have realistic motion and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And I like that, where like, you know, I don't need to have the whole like it looks like it's a full blown real person, but having it where like they don't have the whole janky robotic movements and stuff it's nice.
Yeah.
So I had found this game, like I said, the end of 2020, and I was like, I put it on my wish list. I was like, I'm gonna play this game, and it. You know how it goes. It just kind of fell to the wayside, and I remember hearing positive things about it. I think there was even like a Kotaku, like a full-blown article about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't even a review. It was just an article about the way someone felt about this game.
Okay.
Which I thought was really surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, it's won a whole bunch of awards.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really cool game. So I'm going to read the description just because I feel like it kind of helps set the tone for the story.
Okay.
So on Steam, the description says, 2 lovers gave up everything and escaped to a lost planet to be together. Very, you know, Romeo and Juliet-esque, you know, star-crossed lovers and stuff.
Yeah.
Glide through a mysterious landscape, explore a fragmented world, and fight against what's trying to tear them apart in this RPG adventure about love, rebellion, and freedom.
Okay.
And I think that like that synopsis is pretty darn accurate. Like,
yeah,
granted,
it is.
I have not finished it yet,
no.
But I have devoted several evenings into playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
I am loving it. What I think is most endearing about this game is how much like a real couple these two feel. You know, do you get those vibes? I feel like it could be a real relationship. You know, like this could just as easily, instead of being 2 people that ran away to live on a random planet, they ran away from home and got a rinky-dink 1-bedroom apartment, you know, in a whole other state to be together away from their condescending family or something, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like some of the dialogue is unrealistic for what 2 people would say in a real-world situation. Sometimes. But I could see them being like a real couple, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, like one of the things that I guess the overarching thing is like, so this is an RPG, right? You have this open world. Well, I say open world. It's a bunch of different maps that are little islands. They haven't really explained it in the story yet. Maybe they will when I get there. But all of the land masses on this world are little floating islands. Mm-hmm. So all the environments are different. They're all connected by like energy bridges that like the main guy is like a science nerd, and so he explains like, oh, this is a whatever bridge that's made of whatever energy, you know.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's like
a
the same
biologist or something.
Yeah, and it's like the same energy that powers all of their stuff. They call it flow. So there's a couple of powers that I've unlocked in the game that you have to glide through these flow rifts. It feels very much like kind of like doing tricks in like one of those skate games, you know, where it's like, oh, follow this path, and you have to like mimic the ghost character kind of thing. It's like that, where like you have a little trail ahead of you, but it bobs and weaves and goes up and down and left and right, and you have to make sure you float through the path to harvest the energy, you know. Mm-hmm. And so the bridges are made of that same energy, and that's why they can like go across them, but they're not always there. Yeah, some weird thing, right? Basically, how do we explain why we have a bunch of mini maps that make up our whole map? Yeah, you know. Yeah. So basically, like you explore these different areas. They land on the planet. They're there together. In the very beginning of the game, like it's not really giving anything away, something happens and their ship gets damaged. Yeah. So they can't like leave. Granted, they had no intention of leaving, but they can't leave. But you know, not having the option is scary. Mm-hmm. So right now where I'm at, the whole overarching quest is fix the ship. Yeah. So you have to go and collect components, go and explore areas, and it seems like there's, from what I could tell, there's like 6 parts of the ship that need to be fixed, and every single part is like, it's a lot of like base crafting resources, but there's one special component for each one of them that you have to go and find somewhere. And I've only managed to repair like 2. of the 6, so I still have a ways to go on the story. I did not know this game was co-op. I had to go and look up the co-op mode.
What is it like?
So the co-op mode, it's more of it gives the other person control during combat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like the main person still drives the boat, you know, because traveling through this, it's the couple is always going together. So you choose which one you want to control. You can alternate between them with the push of a button. So do you want to play as you, who is the girl, or do you want to play as Kay, who's the guy? And so you just flip back and forth. They have lots of funny random quips and dialogue as they're going around. Mm-hmm. You is like all about food, but like their food options are very limited. Like there's only like these apples that grow on the planet. They call them apple dews, which I guess gets really boring when all you eat is apple like every day after day after day. Mm-hmm. And so whenever they find new food, she gets all excited. And then one of the mechanics is a weird little, it's not even a mini game. It's just it's a cooking thing where it's like, what kind of combinations can you make? Do you want to mix apple dew and boba nut, or do you want to mix apple dew and peppercorn, or like what do you want to mix, you know? And so you just make little things. The combat system, it's a real-time combat system, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm still figuring it out because it's apparently a lot more complex than I initially thought. Like I thought it was just kind of like spam your attacks quickly enough to knock out the bad guys, because you don't kill any of the creatures you're fighting. Yeah. The whole point is the creatures you're fighting are like corrupted by some like pollution almost, is what it seems like. They call it rust because they don't know what to call it. It's like this orange goopy stuff that's around the planet, but like the energy that's in their hover boots clears it out. So one of the little side quests is like clean up the whole island and clean up this island and clean up that island, you know? Yeah. And so the creatures are basically corrupted by this pollution, and you beat them up until they don't fight, and then you can, like, cleanse them with the energy that you've been collecting. So you don't kill anything, which I like that, you know? Yeah. Because neither of these people seem like overly violent people. They both seem very nice, you know? But it seems like combat gets more complex. I just fought some, like, T-Rex looking creature where I figured out that there's the block ability. You can block. Who knew? But that having one character block not only protects themselves, but like if the creature tries to attack the other character while they're charging their attack, they'll lunge over and protect them. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that the combat's going to have a lot more depth than I initially realized, and the game is going to ease me into it. Yeah. So I keep talking about the mechanics. I will say that the game does tell you straight up in the very beginning that this game is not meant to be challenging. Like they're not trying. It's not trying to be a hard game that's like difficult to beat and all that. It's more of they're trying to tell this interesting love story. Yeah. Between these two people. And so I think that's really interesting. It's really refreshing that they don't like go in under the guise that like, oh, this is a challenging game and you're gonna like feel so challenged and have a great time, and then it's like, just tap the A button. Just tap the A button. No, they don't do that. And I like that they're upfront about it. And honestly, I feel like the story, it's a good story from so far, from where I've gotten. It definitely can stand on its own. I don't want to go too much into it, but it seems like an interesting look at the future. Like they fled some sort of different future society, you know? Mm-hmm. And it seems as you're going, like it does the whole thing where they slowly spoon feed you like exposition as they're like talking about stuff. Yeah. And I think that's pretty cool. I like it a lot. So like you've watched me play this a lot, Erica. Mm-hmm. What do you think about it? I know you're always crocheting while I'm there playing the game.
Yeah, I mean it seems interesting enough. The story is really what I care about. I feel like the gameplay itself isn't too intense from just what I've seen you play. I haven't tried to follow the little trail thing, so I don't know how hard that actually is. But I think it's interesting. I think like the dystopian type of world that they've built is interesting. It does kind of remind me of like this one set of dystopian novels I read back when I was in like high school or something. Okay. But I'm interested to see where it goes and what happens to them, I guess.
Yeah. Like, it definitely gives me some weird, like, dystopian Romeo and Juliet vibes because they ran away so they could be together.
Yeah.
Because, like, in their weird dystopian society, like whoever you're with is determined by the matchmaker.
Yeah, and like
which every time they talk about them, it's like there's some big evil villain, you know, like the matchmaker, you know.
Yeah, and there's specifically a book series. I think the first one is called Matched, where it's that exact scenario where the girl and this guy are going to the matching ceremony, and they get matched with someone, and then they end up running away together because like. You can't, I mean, you shouldn't let other people choose who you love, especially at that young of an age. In the book, it was like they were 13 and they were getting matched already to their lifetime partner. And it's like people that you've never met before, so that could be scary.
Yeah, like that. I mean, and it seems like that's kind of how this is too. Like, I remember, like, there's a spot, because they have random conversations like that, they just pop up whenever you're doing stuff. Like, it could be like you click on the kitchen to make a meal. After you cook a meal, a cutscene starts and they have a conversation. So go into this being prepared for random cutscenes.
Yeah,
but there was a cutscene where they're talking about like the girl asks him if he ever saw who his match was, and he's like, yeah, you know. She's like, did you ever look at the file? And he's like, well, no, I already knew you. Why would I look at the file?
Yeah.
And then she talks about how she had met her match, and I think they went on a date or something like that, you know. Like she met them, and she was like, yeah, you know, whatever, I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah. I also feel like, just based on the little bit of story we've seen so far, I don't know if these two people knew each other very long before they ran away.
Yeah, I don't think that they did. I think this is kind of like a whirlwind romance sort of deal. Like maybe they became friends for a bit, and then they decided that they were in love, and when the realization set in that society wasn't going to let them be together because you don't choose who your partner is, they were like, screw that nonsense, I'm gonna book a flight and get out of here.
Yeah. I
mean, book a flight. The girl, the guy is like the nerdy science dude, and the girl is the tough as nails mechanic. You know, it's really, I think the character archetypes that they've picked for them is pretty cool. You know, she's the I don't need help opening the pickle jar kind of girl. You know, and yeah, and she owned a ship, and so. It's the kind of thing, like, honestly, I really want to play more of it because I want to know more about this future society that they've created.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to tell me as much as I want to know, obviously, because I love a good dystopia. Mm-hmm. I love a good dystopia. But this is going to focus more on them.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, it should. It's a love story. So. But yeah, I really like it. When I looked at these guys, it looks like they have another game that I am excited to check out called Fury. Furi.
Okay.
Like I said, this is one that I had seen. It's pretty old, I guess, in comparison to this guy. Mm-hmm. That it looks pretty interesting. It's a game. It's like a boss rush game.
Okay.
So I thought that looked pretty exciting. I'll have to check it out. It has the same art style.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. I don't know. So this, like I said, this was Haven by the Game Bakers. Really interesting story, fantastic art style, fantastic soundtrack. I think the music that goes for the game is just awesome. Relaxing gameplay.
Yeah.
So don't go in expecting some stressful Dark Soulsian experience. Relaxing gameplay. It's more about exploring the environments, cleaning the environments up. It rewards you for kind of going out of your way to find little things. Mm-hmm. And I like that, you know? It's like the whole, I want to do scavenger hunt stuff, but don't give me some massive sandbox world where I have to go find 100 feathers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I played. Erica, what'd you play?
So this week I played a game called The Search, and this is by Jason Godbey, developed and published. This one came out in April of 2017, so it's pretty old.
Okay, a bit older.
You sent me a link to this because you thought it seemed like something I would play. So the tags are exploration, point and click, hidden object, and puzzle. And yes, those are tags that I would definitely play.
If a game has those tags, it pretty much says Erica will play this.
Yeah.
Unless it's just like all hot pink. I mean, you're gonna pick it up.
Yeah. And so what really drew me to it was the art. Like, the art of this game it's just really pretty. It reminded me a lot of that one game with the lines and the dots.
The Witness.
The Witness, yes.
We need to go back and play that. I don't think we ever finished it.
No, we never did, but with the bit that we did play before, we were like, oh my god, these puzzles are so hard. That one, that's what the art style reminds me of. It's very pretty, very smooth. It just looks like it's not realistic, right? But it's a beautiful art style.
Very, very well drawn and polished environments.
Yeah.
They all just look like it's like that whole photorealism kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where how photos they're a capture of real life, but you can tell that it's a photo.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a point and click adventure type game. You move through the world by clicking on arrows, very Nancy Drew like. Everything is really pretty, and the basis of this is that when you first start this game, you're an artist, and it seems like you've lost yourself. You don't feel creative anymore, or at least that's kind of what I felt from it. And to me, I mean, spoilers, this isn't a very long game. It took less than an hour to get through. But it's you trying to find yourself again and find your passion and your creativity again. After going through like this whole, you know, rat race of a world type of thing. Yeah, is how I would explain it.
Yeah. Lots of ways for you to kind of lose sight of your passions and your creativity and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's really pretty. The puzzles aren't that complex. When we first launched the game, it asked us if we wanted to do hints or clues, and I said no. And then in the first little area that you're in, there is a clue. Like, it told you where to find the things that you needed. And then it told you how to use the things you needed to get the end result, which, like...
Why did it bother asking if it was just going to do it anyway?
Yeah, why did it ask me? It still gave me the clues. I don't know. Maybe the clues would be more up front or something. I don't know, but, like, maybe, like, if you picked up an item, it would say, now you need to find this or something. I don't know. It just seemed like it did give me the clues, even though I said not to.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, I'm wondering, like, does it go from just having a lit path for where to go versus, like, holding your hand and dragging you down the path?
Yeah, and something else about this game, like, all of these, there's, like, 4 or 5 different, like, areas that you go through to find the different items and put them together and, you know, go through the different puzzles. They're all beautiful, and they're kind of big for what you need to do. Like, the basis is you collect what 4 items, you use them together, and then you get to the end of the area and you go to the next one.
Yeah.
And these areas were really pretty, but they were really big, and there was a lot of nothingness. Like, the first one, and you can see pictures of it on the Steam page, is like a little, like, alleyway in, like, Paris where there's, like, little tables outside. It looks super cute. Like, I would want to go and sit there with a cup of tea, because I don't drink coffee, but you know what I mean. And just relax and enjoy the outside, and the birds are chirping, and in the game the audio stuff is great because you can hear the birds chirping, and the atmosphere is really nice. But there's this entire alleyway, and the majority of it, there's nothing to interact with. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you know, I'll move this way one space, and I'll turn sideways. Oh, look, there's a mailbox. Maybe I can open it. No, it's just background. Or, okay, well, let's move this way, and here's a table. Maybe there's something on it. And it's like, no, it's just a table.
It's all scenery.
Yeah, a lot of it was just scenery, so I was kind of disappointed about that. It's so pretty. I want to be able to interact with everything and find all the small little clues and stuff like that. Like in the world too, like all the doors are missing their doorknobs. And like what if I could find them and open the doors and then there's something in there, you know? I don't know. It's probably me thinking too much about the game, but I was a bit disappointed about it. It was really pretty. The story was good. The one thing, it was a bit too hand-holdy with the message it was trying to give you. For every item that you would pick up, there were like little quotes and stuff written by the Invisible Man that were left for you, and you pick up the notes and it's got a nice quote on it, and you're like, okay, you know, I can see how that fits in, you know, she's trying to find herself or whatever. And then you close it, and then the narrator, who has a beautiful voice, she starts talking and going on and on about, you know, these things that she read back in the day, or this story, and this is how this makes me feel and stuff. And I felt like it was too pushy in the message it was trying to give to you. Like, I feel like the notes themselves were enough, and you could draw your own conclusions about what that meant to the character, or even what that meant to you. Like, if you're in a rut in your life, because it does mention at certain points that, you know, it's not just art. Like, people get stuck in different things, and it's true. Like, sometimes you lose a passion for what you're doing. So I really liked the message. I just felt like it was pushing it too hard.
Yeah, no, I could agree with that. I mean, I think it made some comment in the beginning about the search, and I mean, I think that's kind of, I mean, like you said, like I can agree with the message that they're trying to convey, this whole search for self, search for purpose, fulfillment, inspiration, whatever you're looking for. But they were just kind of beating us over the head with quotes, you know? Like, it seemed like almost every time because like part of the mechanics is like you have a little camera and you like take a picture of inspiration.
Yeah.
But every time you would do that, it'd be like, I remember a quote by Nietzsche that said this, you know, or Eric Jung, I think, was the one that they quoted like 4 times.
Carl Jung.
Yeah. But like they would always be like, I remember this quote, and it's like, okay, I get that, but like I said, the upside too is like what, like the only thing that kept the narration from becoming annoying was the fact that they found an amazing voice actress to be the narrator. Like, if they had to have somebody beat me over the head with quotes, I'm glad it was her, you know, because I mean, it was at least pleasant to listen to. Yeah,
it was a lot, and I think like you would take the picture, and the picture itself would have a quote on it. And then you would click on the picture, and then it would go into a whole spiel about, this reminds me of this other quote that said this. And it's like, okay, like, I mean, I get it. I get the gist of it. Like, it doesn't need to be extra. I felt like all of I think this reminds me of this, and this reminds me of that. Or there was a story once that I heard, and I felt like all of that got very tedious after a bit. And it's not that, like I said, it's not that long of a game, but it felt, like I said, very pushy in its message.
I mean, overall, I would say it was a positive experience, because I do agree with the message, and it was a beautiful piece of art.
Yes.
Honestly. Like, that's how I view this game.
Mm-hmm.
This game is a piece of art. And, you know, it's like, what, like, if you're at the museum looking at a beautiful painting on the wall, like, what takes away from that experience? Someone standing next to the painting telling you what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, like I don't want to detract from the amazing voice acting, but like at the same time, it's kind of like you could have just had the written clues, and I feel like I would have taken away just as much from this experience if it was just the written clues.
Yeah, and I feel
the whole
like
finding myself kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like another way to do it too is like you find the clues. The clues themselves were good, like they were good quotes, and they made you think. And then at the end, when you reach the end and you know, the character finds himself, then you do a thing where it's like, I never realized, you know, after this experience I've been through, it's, you know, I've learned so much, whatever. Then you have something as like an ending type bit. Like, I would have preferred that than every step of the way going through this deep introversion into the
or maybe if they saved it for like the end of each section, because you said there was like 4 or 5 different sections you go through, so maybe like when you get to the end of the section and you like open the door, then you have the whole yes, here's that part of myself that I have found, internal monologue time, rather than with touching every individual object. Yeah.
But it was very pretty. Like you said, we like the message, finding yourself and things like that. But it was really pretty.
Yeah, I know we were pulling up additional info about this. Was you found another game by this person called Discolored, right?
Yeah, Discolored.
And so that's definitely one that we'll probably check out. It's a significantly newer entry into the mix.
It's 2 years newer. It's 2019 compared to 2017. But just from the little video that shows on Steam, it seems like more of a complex puzzle game. I'm hoping that's the case. I love puzzle games. I love story games, and I did like the art style. This art style is very similar, and the atmosphere of the game was great. There was a part where you were in like a rainy forest, and you could hear, the wind and the rain and the leaves moving, So I really liked it. Like, it was a pretty game. The atmosphere was great. It just felt like the message was very pushy.
Yeah, but definitely a big experience I would recommend. For what it is, like you said, it was only an hour, maybe 2 to play through. Yeah. And so for a couple of bucks, because that's all that it is, it's just a couple of bucks. I think it's a fantastic experience and message. Yeah. So, yeah.
But yes, that was The Search. All right. So, Nick, do you want to kick us off on what board game or tabletop game we played this week?
Yes. The tabletop game that we played this week is called Splendor. This is designed by Marc-Andre. The art is done by Abbas Amirabadi. Sorry if I butcher your name. I'm so sorry. We have Mahmoud Araste Nassab and Pascal Quidalt. So they did a fantastic job. The artwork in this game
it's really pretty,
phenomenal. And it was published by Space Cowboys, which I had never heard of that until now, and I love it. I need to know if Space Cowboys has more games out there. But yeah, so we picked up Splendor. So in truth, we picked up Splendor a long time ago. Yeah. We have owned Splendor for several years, and this is kind of a rediscovery for us, I would say. Yeah. Because I remember this was one of the first entries into our board game catalog, library, collection, whatever you want to call it. And I remember when we got it, we played it a bunch. We played it with just the two of us. We would bring it to events with my family, and we would play with Philip and Jacob. And I know even my brother's wife would play with us sometimes. And we played it a lot. I think even to the point that we kind of would house rules of the game so that we could make sessions go longer. Yeah. Because the base game, this is the point of the game is to get the most victory points. Yeah. You get victory points by purchasing cards, right? This is a kind of a card drafting game, card purchasing. I don't know what you want to call it. So the main, if you read the rules, the main objective is to get 15 victory points. I think we played some where we would house rule it to 21 to kind of draw it out a little bit longer. Yeah. Which it's either way. It just depends on how you like it. I think the game says 30-minute playtime, and I think that's pretty true as long as people don't get bogged down in
the decisions.
Yeah. So before I get into how that could happen, let's talk about the mechanics. Yeah. So the way that this game works is you have 3 different decks. There's a tier 1, 2, and 3. With 1 being the least expensive types of cards, also worth the least amount of victory points. Then 2, and then 3. So the whole thing is that we are all like Renaissance era gem merchants, right? So every time you purchase a card, you are basically buying a mine that produces a certain type of gem. Yeah. So you've got think of all the colors of the rainbow here. We've got like rubies, we have diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and onyx? I want to say.
I don't know.
whatever that brown gemstone is.
It's like a chocolate-looking one.
Yeah, whatever chocolate diamonds. I don't know what those are. But the chocolate diamonds, from our experience, were the rare ones. You could never get enough chocolate diamonds.
Those were,
But
or maybe we just are really bad at shuffling.
that could be it, too. So the way that this works is, on a person's turn, there are stacks of little poker chips, and each poker chip has one of the gemstones on him. Mm-hmm. And so on your turn, you can take one of 3 actions. It is 3. Yes, 3.
Yeah.
One of 3 actions. You can either take 3 different tokens, so three single individual ones. Mm-hmm. You could choose to take 2 of a single color, as long as the stack had a certain amount in it, because you can't take the last 2 out of a stack kind of deal. Or you can choose to reserve a card from the pool. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, there was a little wild token card that's like a gold coin that you could get. So those are your 3 options. And so what you do is you draft up your currency, you draft these tokens, and then you turn those tokens in to purchase development cards, the mines. Yeah. And so naturally the level 1 mines, they usually don't have any victory points on them at all. Yeah. But they're also cheap. So you might only have to turn in 2 sapphires and a diamond for 1 ruby mine. Mm-hmm. But then you have a ruby mine. And so whenever you get development cards, you suddenly then have that as currency you can spend on other cards. So for every ruby card you have in your hand, that counts as 1 ruby you can spend on another card. Mm-hmm. So you spend the early game kind of quickly trying to scoop up as many level 1 cards as you can. Yeah. And then you start buying the upper echelon cards, because the tier 3 cards
they get expensive.
It's 7 blue and 5 green, and I'm like, how? Yeah. So that was one of the things. That was kind of why we house ruled
the 21
going to 21, because if you're just going to 15, most of the time you don't break tier 2. No. You get into tier 2, and those start giving you 2 and 3 points. And then the game ends because you're only going to 15. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the one other thing was there were what were they called? They're like nobles? The nobles, there you go, that you can earn based on the gems that you have. Each of them has a certain requirement. Like if you have 3 diamonds, 3 rubies, and 3 sapphires, then you'll get that guy. And all of them are worth 3 points. So it's also a race to get those, and after the second, and once you get into the second row, it's pretty much done. And we did play till 21 a few times, and even then we didn't get into the 3rd row very often. Yeah.
I feel like we the times that we broke into the 3rd row were when we had more players. Because if it's just the 2 of us, we're not going to tap out tier 1 and 2. But I do remember back when we played with the rest of my family, we would tap out. Tier 1 would be empty.
It would be gone, yeah. So we had to go into 2.
Yeah, and so we start scrambling to see who can get enough tier 2 and 3 cards to pull it out. Because the tier 3 cards, those were the ace in the hole ones. Because there were ones up there worth 5 points. Yeah. And could you imagine you're about to lose. Erica's got 14 points. I'm sweating. How am I going to do this? What's going on? And then it turns out, wait a second. I've got 6 diamonds and 3 emeralds. I can buy a 5-point card. Victory from the clutches of defeat, Yeah. And that happened once. I won one. I felt good. It doesn't happen very often, but I did it.
Yeah. I think you won more than I did when we were replaying this recently.
Yeah, we did play several. We played a good 5 or 6 rounds to reacquaint ourselves with this.
Yeah, I think I won the first one, and that was it.
I got lucky, all right? I'm spending so much time trying to do math. I'm like, well, she's got a 1 and a 1 and a 2 and a...
Why don't you just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Because that's easy.
Okay.
And I'm hard on myself.
You're 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5, plus 1
and 1 make 2, 2 and 1 make 3. That kind of stuff. But this guy is fantastic. It's a really common game to find. I think you can find it at Walmart and Target. And
Pretty sure you can.
Most places that sell board games will probably sell a copy of this.
Yeah.
And with good reason, because it is a fun, simple game, easy to learn, and especially if you have a big group of people, that's everyone's a bit like board game savvy, like it's everybody gets a little competitive. You start kind of competing, and it's great for the people who want to focus on their own stuff, but it's also great for the disruptors.
Yeah.
If you want to like look at people and be like, well, Erica's got 2 diamonds. I'm gonna take this diamond so she can't have a third. You could do that. I did it once, just once. It was for the chocolate diamonds. All right, we were fighting over chocolate diamonds, and I don't know what to call them. I'm gonna call them onyx because that's the only like dark precious thing I've heard of ever.
Onyx.
Yeah, maybe it's jet.
Do they have the rule book? I'm sure it says in the rule book.
I vaguely remember. I know we were talking about the nobles. I think they are called patrons.
Okay.
Like think about it. Like you get like a famous person to be like, oh yes, the gem merchant Nick. His stand is the best because he's got all the sapphires you could ever want. It
is onyx, by the way.
Yes. But yeah, this is one, and then when doing the extra research on it now here for the posting, I found out that it turns out there's an expansion to this called Cities of Splendor.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to go and try to pick that up. I need to look on like Amazon and eBay and stuff and see where I can snag a copy of that, because I don't remember ever seeing the expansion at the store, which would be why I never knew about it, because I don't walk through the board game aisle every time I go to Walmart.
Every time.
Who does that? You never know when something new is going to show up. I still need to buy Ticket to Ride, but
yeah. I did see on their website that they've got a playmat. I've been like obsessed with playmats as of late. I don't know why.
Playmats are really nice. It's really great, especially ones like this where it's literally just you lay the cards out and make the board. If you just have a playmat, it's like, here, it's a box. Put it in the box. Like, what's not to love?
And it's for the playmat is for Splendor and the expansion.
See, I want to get the expansion, and then this one has got me thinking. The only complaint I have about this game isn't even about the game; it's about the packaging.
Oh yes, this is my least favorite package.
This is the one that, like,
well, maybe
unless you carry it like with reverence and poise. The pieces get all out of whack and discombobulated in the packaging, and they're all over the place.
We thought we lost the ruby because it had fallen in between
the
the plastic insert and the box itself.
But this has got me thinking about. I'm on this kick where I want to be crafty like you, but it's the whole hey you, But I want to be crafty, and I want to go and do our own foam insert for this. But big but. I want to get the expansion, because if you're going to cut a foam insert that fits the game and the expansion. All in one.
Well, you could always just do it for one and leave like foam on the bottom half, and then you cut out the expansion parts once you get it.
That's true, because there's not a whole lot of. This does not have a whole lot of moving components. It's got a deck of cards. It's got some like little cardboard coaster style guys that are the nobles, the patrons, and then you have poker chips.
Yeah, that's it. And there's not even that many poker chips. I think there's
this guy has a way bigger box than he
each?
needs.
Yeah.
So fun, ton of fun though.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Like I said, that's my only complaint, and I've only realized this to its full extent now that we store all of our games upright.
Yeah.
So every time you pick up this box, the lid doesn't want to close right because all the poker chips have fallen out and are holding the lid open.
Well, the first time I did it, where all our games were still in the closet, and they were all stacked on top of each other, and I was like, I'm going to redo this so that they're all standing upright, and it's easier to get stuff out. And I flipped this one, and then the lid just fell off, and all the stuff fell out. And I was like, oh my god, I hate this game. I'm never, I hate this game. So I had to find everything, put it all back in, and then I had to, literally get 2 other games and sandwich it in between, and then put it in the shelf so that the stuff wouldn't fall out. It was very frustrating.
So this is like a love story. Like, you fell in love, y'all fell apart, and now you're back together again. I mean, Oh, but still, Splendor. Such a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to try the expansion. I think I even saw something about there being a different version, like Marvel Splendor. Like, I'm thinking like Thanos and the Infinity Stones,
But why would there be more than one of the same Infinity Stone?
I don't know. Because you can travel different dimensions. I don't know. That's how they did it in Endgame. They cheated. They went to alternate dimensions.
Okay.
Right? I don't know. Or was it time travel? Something. They were trying to be Inception.
But yeah.
So that was our board game, tabletop game, because it's just a tabletop game. There's no board.
There's unless we get the playmat. Then would you call it a playmat game?
It's a tabletop game. Tabletop.
Yeah, I am obsessed with playmats. I'm like all of the Kickstarters I've backed. I am getting the playmats if they have them. They're so nice, especially with our table. It's so hard to get cards off of the table.
Yeah, I have such a hard time. I cannot get cards off of a flat, hard surface.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And so I've been wanting to buy a big flat playmat just to lay over the table before we play any kind of game. That way I can for sure pick things up.
Yeah. Now I'm getting games with playmats. So
I know. Was it like Doomlings and stuff? Oh, it's going to be so great.
Doomlings, and then I found out that Parks had one in the Caper Kickstarter, so I'm getting the Parks one. Very
It's going to be
excited.
great. It's going to be great. The future is bright.
Yes. But yeah, so that was it. That is our 2 video games. We've got The Search and Haven, and then we've got our tabletop game is Splendor. We don't have a Kickstarter corner this week, but we hope we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Toodles.
If you're digging the Unearthing Games podcast, give us a positive rating on your podcast directory, or give us a thumbs up on our YouTube channel. Share the podcast with your DM or local game shop owner or your best friend. And check out our website at unearthinggames.com. The Unearthing Games podcast is recorded in front of a live puppy audience. All borks, ruffs, jingles, and squeaks are completely original and not added in post.